Today I'm going to be going over how to configure Windows Server update services using group policy objects in your environment in order to push out Microsoft updates to your various downstream clients. So the first thing we want to do is we want to pull up the Server Manager dashboard. We want to go to Tools and we want to select the Group Policy Management. And you can see here I already have one created, but for the sake of demonstration I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to choose a random OU. You want to right click on the OU that obviously it's going to be applied to, and you want to select the first option here, create a GPO in this domain, and link it here. I'm just going to call it WSUS, call it a day. Now you want to expand that OU, right click on the GPO you just created, and select edit. And on the left hand pane, we obviously want this applied to the computer itself, not user configuration. So we expand policies, expand administrative templates, make this a little bigger so we can see. Expand the Windows Components directory. Scroll all the way down, second one from the bottom, Windows Update. We want to expand this one. There is another subdirectory under here about deferring Windows updates. I'm not going to get into that, but that's an important one to know about because there may be a situation where you need to defer various Windows updates, such as the one that was released this month in April. I think it's KB 5001330, something like that. It's known to basically blue screen a bunch of Windows 10 machines for no reason. So in that case, you might want to defer that. But anyways, we're going to be focusing on this side here. There are a lot of options. All of them are really important. However, I'm only going to be configuring 3 of them to get this up and running. The first one that I'm going to be looking at is Configure Automatic Updates, which is this one. So we're going to right click, select Edit, and we want this to be enabled. And under the options, this is basically going to be up to you depending on how you want this update to take place. I'm going to leave it as auto download and notify for install. The other options would be notify for download and notify for install. Auto download and schedule the install. I'm just going to leave it as its default. However, this is going to be taking place not during business hours, so I guess I could have it as a different one. I'm just going to leave it as this though. I'm going to select this box here for install during automatic maintenance. I don't want this to take place every day though, so I'm going to choose it for, let's say, every Saturday when I know people aren't going to be working. In the scheduled install time, I want this to take place not during production hours. I could leave it at 3 a.m., however, I want to leave myself a little wiggle room. If you have updates taking place at midnight, then some updates take a lot longer than others. They may require several reboots, something like that. So just to be safe, I want to give myself at least 8 hours for these to apply properly. So we're going to hit apply. Okay. The second one I want to look at is the specify intranet Microsoft update service location. So again, right click, edit. We want to enable this policy. And under the options here, the first one we're going to look at is set the intranet update service for detecting updates. This is going to be the name of the WSUS server that you're using to push out updates to the downstream clients. You may have several in your environment depending on how big your environment is. For example, if you have 3,000 end users, chances are you're going to have multiple WSUS servers. Just one of them alone is not going to be able to handle the workload of pushing out updates to 3,000 clients. But for this, I only have one. One server at least. So here I'm typing in the IP address of my server. You can also specify a fully qualified domain name. So if I want, I could also do DC CHUE starfleet13.gov. Either way works. It's totally up to you. You may have more consistency if you set it as the fully qualified domain name, depending on if you have a dynamic IP address for your server or something. Not that you would. That'd be weird. So after you do that, you want to specify the port that WSUS communicates over, which is 8530. That's the default one. Some people like to change it to something totally different, which is fine. You just have to make sure you specify the appropriate port for that. And the second and last option we want to specify is the set the intranet statistics server. This is what is going to allow the client to send the various statistics of the update back to the server, so that way you can see if the update succeeded, if it failed, if there were any warnings or errors that took place during the update. So again, we're going to do the UNC path, whack whack. I'm going to keep some consistency here, and we're going to do my fully qualified domain name. don't even know if I wrote that correctly because I can't see what I'm typing. Yep, that looks good. And we're not going to set the alternate download server. Again, this would be if you have a secondary WSUS server in your environment. So, for example, if this one went down, then there would be an alternate server that the client would be able to, pull down patches from. However, in my environment, I only have one server pushing out updates to one client, so I'm not really worried about it. We're going to hit apply and OK. And the last policy I want to look at here is the enable client-side targeting. So again, right-click, edit, enable. Now the target group name for this computer, this I haven't covered it in this video as far as creating the group names. That is in the written documentation on this website. However, I will show you really quick what I'm talking about. If we pull up Server Manager, go to Tools, very bottom option, Windows Server Update Services. Maximize this. So on the left-hand pane here, you have your computers. You have all computers, but then if you expand this tree, you have the various groups. This one is just by default. This is what every computer will get chucked into. However, this is the Windows Server Update Services group that I want the patches to be pushed out to, which is just these two computers. So if we return here, we're just going to type in that name, test, oops, spell it correctly, and that's it. Apply, OK, and that's it.